ice. You never know if it could change your life.
Oh boy, Rob. Oh, I am bushed. I am beat. I'm tired.
Why would you be tired, Matt? What you possibly have to be tired about?
Just made it to our record time. Barely on time. I was just booking it back from the airport. Just got a quick flight from Cancun to Houston, Texas. Back. What's been going on? What's been going on with you, with Texas, with the country?
We love a timely evergreen joke here on Dungeon Master of None.
Cancun is just lovely this time of year. Let me tell you.
Whomst among us, when faced with a world historical crisis that we are both responsible for and partially the cause of, has not decided to flee the state for warmer climes?
Ted Cruz, the cause of and not the solution to all of life's problems. Amazing. He's the anti-beer.
Incredible. He is. He really is the anti-beer. There's nothing to recommend him. Truly
the worst of all nerds.
Yeah.
You may think you know a bad nerd out there, but there's always one worse, and then there's Ted Cruz.
Folks, this is very unfortunate because we would prefer to not acknowledge this, but Ted Cruz, he's a mega nerd. He's with speech and debate at Yale. You know, he trolled some reporter with I gotta admit, he correctly quoted Shakespeare and trolled a reporter into looking dumb.
He loves Lord of the Rings.
He loves
and
Lord of the
Rings.
So do we. Yeah. And so do we.
And this show is Dungeon Master of None in a smooth segue.
That's right. Where one of us lives in Texas and both of us were born there, so we have particularly intense feelings about things that happen in the Lone Star State, which is now the Sub-Zero State. Speaking of Sub-Zero, Matt, did you see the new Mortal Kombat trailer?
No, I didn't. Is it good? Is Sub-Zero in it?
Sub-Zero is in it.
Do they say the line?
They say all of the lines. He stabs the guy with his own frozen blood, Matt.
So good.
It's so good.
A lot of my childhood coming back to me.
That's right.
There.
Get over here. Finish him. Fatality. It's all in there. All your favorites.
Maybe we have to take a look at. It's not Mortal Kombat, but the Street Fighter role-playing game, see if we can port it over to
I'm
other.
pretty sure we talked about that before. That's definitely been on my list of things to actually check out. We'll bump that up the list. We'll do a Street Fighter RPG Mortal Kombat conversion just for you folks.
Yeah, thinking about of all the new movies coming out, I was reflecting on your wonderful episode about cyberpunk, Rob, and our shitty cyberpunk future that we're in right now. Neon liberalism.
That's right.
If you will.
I don't know if you saw any of us tweeting, but there were some great pictures of the skylines of Austin and Houston and Dallas lit up, surrounded by complete blackness.
I could see it out my window. I can see a couple of the downtown skyscrapers and see not only everyone made a big deal of the lights at night, but during the day you can see the clouds of steam coming off of them as all of those ginormous buildings are warmed. As we all fucking froze to death down here.
There are people breaking down their fences and lighting fires in their yards. And, God, I forget the name of the big shitty tower is, lit up like it's fucking Christmas. That's cyberpunk, folks.
Yeah, that's cyberpunk. And that makes me think that the best cyberpunk film of our generation is definitely Boots Riley's "Sorry to Bother You."
Yes, one of our listeners, or did somebody? If this is your original idea, Matt, you're absolutely correct.
I think it's my original idea.
"Sorry to Bother You" is a great movie. It is incredibly cyberpunk. It is also depressing and grotesque and a little bit abstract. If you have not seen it, it rules, and you should watch it. And it again, it has high tech. But
biopunk. It's
high tech, low life. That's right. Sorry, that was the thing.
High tech, low life, and it's about organizing your workplace. So
it is,
and race and a bunch of other
probably
things.
The closest thing in spirit to like the OG cyberpunks, for sure. Good observation. Speaking of movies, which we are doing, Matt, have you heard the news? Not about Mortal Kombat, but about the Dungeons and Dragons movie casting.
I saw there was a Chris, one of the Hollywood Chris's in
Chris
it.
Pine. One of the good Chris's.
Yeah, I would say if I just had to pick a Chris at random, I would pick him for sure.
I think he's the best Chris, but regardless, he's not one of the bad Chris's.
He's not the Chris that's married to Schwarzenegger / Kennedy / Shriver.
That's
Yeah.
right.
You marry into that cursed bloodline, and you're a bad egg.
You
forever, I think.
Also in this movie,
imagine being like, "Oh, I really want to marry a Kennedy." Sounds great. It's all uphill from here.
Also in this movie are Michelle Rodriguez. I'm a big fan.
Oh, holy shit! I hadn't heard this.
You hadn't
That's
heard
great.
that? Yeah. Hopefully she doesn't get killed in the first, half of the movie, as is her kind of lot in life.
Right, or just say like, "Oh, fuck it," and like crash her helicopter into the bad guy.
Have exactly 2 lines and be very cool, like she was in Avatar. Also attached, have you seen the smash hit historical sensation Bridgerton, Matt?
I have.
Well, the sexy leading man, whose name I cannot say, Roger Jean Page, is also now attached to the Dungeons & Dragons movie.
Well, I remember him very much from Bridgerton. His role was being the guy who wouldn't blast into his wife.
That's right. I've watched 2 episodes and I was like,
Well, sorry, spoilers for
Spoilers.
Bridgerton everywhere. It's all about not coming in your wife.
It's all about being. It's all about being
It's all about-
full cell.
Onanism. It's about onanism.
That's right.
It's a very good show, and he's a great lead. I also remember him from the Shonda Rhimes show that I think
that's
didn't
right.
get going.
That's right.
We the People. My wife's a lawyer, so
That's
we
right.
watched
Yeah, 'cause-
all that. Yeah, he was very good in that too.
Because Bridgerton's also a Shonda Rhimes. And then it's also got.
He's part of the Shondaverse, and I
He
hope
is
the
part of the
D&D movie
Shondaverse.
is also part of the Shondaverse too. That would be great.
It is also starring somebody named Justice Smith. Who
Oh,
was
that's the
in-
Detective Pikachu guy.
Oh, right. That's
Yeah.
right.
He was charming in Detective Pikachu.
So anyway, the cast, diverse, interesting, not terrible. Now, that doesn't
There's
mean
no
it's good.
way this could be good. Though.
No, there's no way it could be
Come on.
good. No. Sorry, don't make me. Don't mistake me for saying that this means it's going to be good.
Okay.
I'm just saying it is not automatically set up to be bad. Though the OG had Jeremy Irons in it, so
And he was the best part. See, I mean, I think this is what we want. We know it's going to be bad. We just want to have some hot people, some good
That's right.
actors
That's
that
right.
we like. Look like they're having fun.
look like
right?
exactly. Just as long as both sides have a good time.
If Michelle Rodriguez looks like she's happy, she's getting paid.
That's right.
There we go.
Michelle Rodriguez deserves to get paid. As long as she does, I'm fine with it. Okay. Sorry, we're really rambling through the news.
Sure.
But we do have a couple things to talk about. We have neglected our unearthed arcana, and there have been 2 since
Yes.
last we spoke. The first was Gothic lineages.
Mhm.
Which-
And this was from January 2021, and we're also going to touch on 2 new subclasses from
the
October of last year, 2020.
Oh, did we miss these?
Yeah. So we're talking here about the Way of the Ascendant Dragon,
We
the
better do this
Drake
first, then.
Warden, and 3 new Gothic lineages: the Dampier, the Hexblood, and the Reborn.
Let's start with these subclasses since they're old and we somehow missed them. This is clearly a dragon-themed set of subclasses. It's only 2.
Yeah.
Matt, do you have anything to say about these?
No, I mean, I think they're fine. The Drake Warden uses the newly standardized companion rules to give you a dragon companion. Everyone loves that.
Everyone loves it.
Way of the Dragon Monk uses this great mechanic that all monks need, which is they get a bunch of free uses of their cool shit. In this case, it's the Breath of the Dragon. You shoot a dragon breath weapon as a monk without burning ki a couple times a day. And if you could just only errata that back quite easily into all the other monk subclasses, it would be great. But it's a good use of the monk and ranger.
Yeah, neither of these are groundbreaking, but they do both have slight mechanical improvements. If you ever wanted to be a ranger or anybody with a dragon companion, you can now do it. Well, you can theoretically do it when they add it something.
You could make a dragonborn monk, Way of the Ascendant Dragon / dragon sorcerer that takes the spell Dragon's Breath, and you could have like 4 different ways to breathe fire and be really bad at all of them.
Yeah,
but that would be
you
cool.
could really like weekly breathe fire so many times a day.
Yes. With so many different mechanics. Like each one would have a different save.
You'd have to look up every save independently.
It would be great. But no, I mean, everyone always has a character or a player that wants to be just a fucking dragon.
Everyone wants to breathe fire. It's cool. Let them do it.
Too. Especially during this winter storm, eh?
Right. Hey.
Sign me up for some of that. Let's talk about Gothic lineages. Okay.
Yeah.
Before we get into this one, it seems like Wizards of the Coast, after not really fully giving us what we wanted with revised racial traits, has settled on the term lineages over the term race when talking about things. At least that's what I read into it. Maybe I'm reading too much into it.
To me as well. We'll see like what future publications say, but that's what it seems like to me. Maybe they're trying it out. Maybe they're playtesting it. Maybe they're seeing.
I think the other thing that made me think of this was like some errata that they issued for Tasha's Cauldron of Everything that also sort of talked about this language.
Actually, Matt, I don't know. Here's what it says on. It says, going forward, the term race in D&D refers only to the suite of game features used by player characters.
Okay.
Said features don't have any bearing on monsters and NPCs, blah, 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 blah. DMs are empowered to customize the features of the creatures in their game as they wish. So not getting rid of race.
Okay.
But
I read too much into it. You were right.
That's okay. With too much to hope. So what have we got here? What have we got? We've got...
I was just thinking lineage is like such a perfect term.
Oh, well.
And that way, if you wanted to be creative and like, do things that had characters that, didn't have anything to do with, their DNA, you could always give them a lineage.
It wouldn't be Wizards if they didn't go right up to the edge of doing something good and then stop.
Because we talked about this a long time ago, like species, ancestry. I'm like, oh, lineage.
Lineage is good.
I like that. Okay. Anyway, these are all Goth AF. They're all very similar in that, you get the same ability boosts, just different special things. And they're definitely made where you could tack them on to an existing, like you could be a halfling Damphir, right? The halfling stuff doesn't mean anything mechanically for you anymore other than you're small. Or you could be a human Hexblood or a human Damphir.
Yeah. And all of these seem pretty balanced, I would say. The Damphir comes with, it's part vampire, so it comes with dark vision, spider climb, a bite, Hexblood. You're a hag child, hag spawn. Why isn't it called hag spawn? I guess that's not very nice. It's not a very nice name for things.
No, it reminds me of like a changeling of myth, right?
Right. You've been replaced by a fae. Oh, that's
But it's not exactly that. But if you wanted to create a character like this fits perfectly.
Yeah, and they come with innate magic, and some saving throws, dark vision, a weird magic token thing. And then the final one is the Reborn, which is, as you might imagine,
you're a Frankenstein.
You're Frankenstein.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're dead, but not all the way dead. They've got a pretty cool. I like this knowledge from a past life ability. It's just like free bonuses to ability checks. And a decent number of times per day. Wasn't Reborn something that Matt Mercer came up with? Wasn't this in Wildmount, or am I misremembering?
I remember Wildmount had some special rules for when you came back from the dead. I don't remember if it had a new race, but this definitely fits. If you had your character raised from the dead and you're like, I'm tired of being a human or a dragonborn, you could absolutely just be like, I'm a reborn now.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I mean, these are very goth. A little late for Halloween. Swing and a miss there, Wizards of the Coast. But, save these for your Strahd campaign and your Halloween one-shots. And, yeah, I think these are pretty cool, all things considered.
I mean, and it wouldn't be Dungeon Master of None if we didn't speculate wildly to draw the conclusion that these two releases definitively prove
Ravenloft
and
the setting.
and Dragonlance.
And Dragonlance.
Confirmed 2021.
That's right. You heard it here first, folks.
Obviously means nothing, but we can hope.
We can speculate wildly. No one can stop us. Ravenloft and Dragonlance. Here we come.
All right, Rob, let's answer some letters. Let's get some good Dungeon Master vibes out into the world.
Let's do it.
All right, here's our first letter, Rob. Hello, Demon Crew. Just listened to your House Rules episode. Wanted to know your thoughts on one I'm thinking about implementing in my upcoming game. I'd like to do something different with inspiration because I tend to hand it out very easily, but in the past, some of my players haven't really used it a lot. Some of them have been forgetting they even have it. What that says to me is advantage on a single roll isn't that exciting. I was thinking of spending that players could spend an inspiration as a reaction to take an action outside the turn order in combat. This, I think, would lead to epic moments where they've beaten the monster down and someone can spend inspiration to land that final blow right as it's taking a strike. Logan, P.S. You guys are still my favorite D&D podcast. Keep up the awesome show, and I'll keep pestering my play group to give you a listen.
Thank you, Logan. And I love this. What it does, I mean, I'm sure there's some way that this is dubiously balanced, but I like this because it turns inspiration into something more like action points or bennies, which a lot of other systems have. And I think those are great, frankly. They run into the problem. Inspiration has this problem where it's, players hoard it. Like you get to the end of Resident Evil and you have, a full inventory full of green herbs, but
everyone always has inspiration. They never spend it.
Exactly. But as long as you can encourage your players to spend it or give them reasons to do it, I think this is a great idea.
Yeah, I mean, this makes inspiration from something, as you said, of dubious power that's plentiful. You can get advantage from lots of things. Taking an extra action is incredibly rare and valuable for every character all the time. So I would say try it and see how it works, and that you've definitely made inspiration the most powerful thing, which is great. I don't think there's actually too much of a downside to that. Maybe it steps a little bit on the fighter's toes with second wind, but I don't think so. I mean, your fighter can take advantage of this as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you give out these inspirations too liberally, you will have to rebalance your encounters because it's already... Action economy is already weighted towards the players most of the time. But as long as you're taking that into consideration, I can't see how this would unbalance the game.
Yeah, no, me neither. I would just say add on, having physical chits or tokens, even on a digital thing that you can sort of set on people or turn on their marker on their sheet is the best way to encourage players to use their inspiration. Yeah, because it's kind of tucked away on your character sheet otherwise.
All right, Logan, thanks for writing. We have one here. Since you guys asked for your thoughts on Genesys, we did. Edge of the Empire was the first RPG outside of the D&D Pathfinder realm that I played, and after being overwhelmed by trying to run sci-fi for the first time at a completely new system. After some early stumbles, I feel like the best three things about the system are dice.
1.
Even though they are proprietary, they are hands down the best thing about the system. Unlike D&D, where a lot of the times you roll and nothing happens, with these dice, something always happens because it's not a flat success or failure. They also become better the longer that you play, and you become more comfortable improving all the possible outcomes of a roll. I think we agreed with this. Yeah. The only problem we have is the literal proprietary dice. The dice system is rad. I'm a big fan of Genesys's dice system, which is very, very cool.
It's a big first step, but once you take it, it's great.
Let's see.
2.
Range bands. Coming from having a lot of battle maps to abstract range bands and more theater of the mind was tough. The online conversions to more rigid traditional squares were only a slight improvement. Sorry. Oh, these are the things that stand out.
Yeah, about Genesis. The idea that all combat is either like close, near, or far.
Yeah.
It's not everyone's cup of tea.
I go back and forth on theater of the mind. I like my battle maps still, but when I'm playing outside of D&D, theater of the mind actually works just fine. Range band feels a little bit abstract, though. I have not tested Genesys combat extensively in a long time, and I don't remember it being one way or another, but definitely coming from battle maps to any sort of abstraction is a real challenge, and some of my players have struggled with it immensely. Third, no CR. D&D CR may not be great, but at least there is something. Trying to balance encounters, especially when new to the system, is tough. The guides online I could find was, just kind of look at their damage and armor and make it similar to the party, which frankly is what I do in a lot of RPGs. But
thanks,
Matt,
Brian. Yeah, that one was one that we completely missed about the no CR for the enemies. And that's really tough.
That's a very good point, Brian, and not something we considered. I have not DM'd a Genesys game. I've only been a player, so I
same for me.
Not really thought about that. That's a good point. We are always interested in your takes, thoughts, especially on systems that we're not as familiar with. By all means, write us and let us know. Thank you, Brian, for your excellent thoughts.
Yeah, thank you, Brian. And I mean, I think Genesys is a system that I'm going to keep coming back to at least for inspiration. And I am with our letter writer 100% that I am sold on the proprietary dice. I mean, it absolutely is a way to get more money for Fantasy Flight Games and their weird French parent company, but damn, it is nice. It is nice to move away from number dice. All right, here's our next letter, Rob. Encumbrance. Hi, Matt and Rob. Massive fans of the show. Regarding your episode on house rules, I am finding using encumbrance rules a useful way for players to not have an overflowing bag of things that they cannot even remember where they came from. I also have a player who has a tendency to take all the items the party finds for himself. Here's the simplified encumbrance rules. If I limit the amount of items to 11 large items and 3 small items make 1 large, it works great. I've found my players, once I explain this a couple of times, and they manage it themselves. Regards, Sean.
I think this is a good system. I've played in games where there's something like this where an item had just an abstract unit of weight. That's totally fine. I find, Sean, that I have trouble getting my players to engage with their inventory at all. I have to remind them what they're carrying, which is why I don't use encumbrance rules, because it is hard enough to get them to write down that they have a potion of healing. However, if you have the opposite problem, I actually think this is a great solution.
Absolutely. I would say I go a step further if you want to think about the encumbrance aspect of it, in that the total amount they can carry is whatever arbitrary number you've assigned, 11 large items or 11 small items or whatever that is. And say, I'm stealing this from Ultraviolet Grasslands and the Black City. Whatever that bin is, that creates 1 bag. And you can carry 1 bag or 1 pack's worth of things unencumbered. If you go over that, you're encumbered. And you can carry up to 2 packs worth of things encumbered, and you just absolutely can't carry 3. Or you could carry 3, but you have to slowly drag them across the ground, right? And that way you've got, sort of the nice actual, because D&D's encumbrance rules are kind of nice. It's like, unencumbered, you can carry all this stuff. Once you go over this, you can move a little slower, but still do all the things.
Yeah. No, I think this is a good solution, for sure.
Great suggestion.
I also think Sorry, we've gone into
That's
this
good.
substantially. No, I'm just going to gripe again that the existing D&D encumbrance rules are terrible. They're a legacy from ancient days. They're a nuisance for everybody. They should be changed.
Yeah.
All right, we've got another question.
Fire away.
Dear Rob and Matt, first, I wanted to thank you all for your excellent podcast, you're welcome, which has been a huge help to me in setting up my first ever campaign that I'm running for my siblings, a Pirates vs. Traders meets a Greek Odyssey campaign set in an archipelago full of mythical monsters and titans. Love it.
Oh, yeah.
Your recommendations and advice have been real support. My favorites so far have been the Eat the Rich adventure, hell yeah, on the DM's Guild, and Seth Dickinson's The Trader Baru Coromorant. One of my teenage siblings came out as trans recently, and I'd really like to include stuff that helps him explore his gender as part of our game. I'd already introduced a non-binary NPC, which I hope indicated that the world contains fluid sexualities and genders. My sibling is also quite shy when it comes to role-playing, so I want to encourage him as much as possible without being too pushy. My other siblings/players are, of course, very supportive and would be open to this. One of my other ideas was to have the gods in this world have multiple identities that are different genders and show different aspects in different pantheons. Do you think this could work, or would it be too confusing? Any tips on how I can make my world as exciting and accepting as possible for a newly out shy teen? Thanks again, and keep rolling them dice. Frankie.
Great
PS.
question. Oh,
Sorry,
yeah.
There's two questions here.
Two
Great question,
questions.
Frankie, but I'll read your PS because it's kind of related. I also find the history you talk about on the podcast really inspiring and helpful. Good, because we can't stop. For world building, as I'm doing my best to include post-colonial politics in the campaign as well. I like to read history and listen to podcasts, but most of the stuff I've found to listen to has been European history. John Hatcher's The Black Death, The Public Medievalist, Eric Hobsbawm, Patrick Wyman's Fall of Rome podcast. These are great suggestions, by the way. If anyone's interested in history,
if you want to just casually get into Eric Hobsbawm, more
by all
power
means.
to you. Great book.
I love medieval history, but I'd like to broaden my scope a bit. Any recommendations for historical books or podcasts with good politics and a non-European focus?
Sure.
There's Frankie, I love this question, and there's several parts of it, but
let's get to the first part first.
So this is a great question, and I really want to commend you for trying to make your trans sibling feel welcome and encouraged, and hopefully D&D can be a good place for that. It's a good place to explore just who you are, role-playing, to be liberated, even if you're shy. This may shock some of our listeners, but I was a very shy teenager for a very long time, and it was not D&D alone that transformed me into the hollering, boisterous, adult that you see before you, but it helped. And this is a great question. So I love it's putting non-binary or trans PCs in the game, or NPCs, is great. I think that it's actually easier than you think to have something like the gods have multiple identities. In the real world, despite the fact that, certain traditions of history have failed to properly articulate this, many faith traditions have gods that are both male and female, or some combination of the two, or can easily transition between the two. Even Norse mythology, right? Loki transforms into a woman, has sex, and then gives birth to the monster 8-legged horse, Sleipnir. The goddess Inanna of Sumeria is has both like male and female aspects. Many Hindu deities have both. I don't think it's too complicated at all. And I think
to answer that question straight away, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Not too complicated, not too pushy.
And as I was rambling, like the point I was trying to get to is that it's not only not those things, but it's more accurate to the breadth and depth and diversity of faith traditions, and it should be very easy to incorporate into your world. Even D&D itself has who is it? Corellin,
Lenarthan, the elven god and goddess.
Lorathian, yeah, Corellin Lorathian, who's has both male and female aspects, has trans and non-binary followers.
Corellia Raytheon. I can never remember their name. No, I think it's not too much. Is in fact absolutely a great thing to do something like that. And I would say if you're just looking to make your role-playing game table a welcoming space for trans and other gender non-conforming people of all stripes, just follow the sort of advice you would have for any space, right? Are you making sure that this is sort of a safe space for them, regardless of it being a role-playing game, right? That, you know, if you follow that, you're off to, that's like sort of step one, right? Beyond your world building. And it sounds like, Frankie, you've already done that. So
yeah,
that's so great.
I mean, I think this is a great first step. A lot of it is attitude, and you've got the right attitude. Matt has found us a couple of great resources from
Monsters and Darlings, which has some advice, some much more detailed advice for trans-inclusive storytelling and role-playing games. Great for both dungeon masters and players. And, they're probably a better resource for this question than us. And I will include the link in the show notes, but we encourage you to take a read.
To take a look.
Yeah. But, I think the general takeaway is don't stop with just your Pantheon, right? It's absolutely – it makes it a more welcoming space to have non-binary NPCs, non-trans NPCs, and, you don't have to make a big deal out of it, but, or shoehorn in some weird storyline, but have them be characters just like every other NPC in your world, and that makes your world a more trans and non-binary friendly space.
Yeah, the best thing you can do is just put them in and not make a big deal out of it. Drop some they/them pronouns, mention some, somebody identifying a certain way. Don't dwell on it, but it's true to life, true to history, and there's a lot of easy ways to do it. Matt, do we have any good, quick recommendations for accessible non-European history? I want to recommend this doesn't really count, but if you like Patrick Wyman and you haven't listened to it already, Mike Duncan's Revolutions series has extensive series on both the Haitian Revolution and the Mexican Revolution. And again, these are not technically not European, but they are outside of Europe.
Sure. And I think those are, it's a great podcast. Mike Duncan is an excellent historian, storyteller for the masses, very easy to get into. If you like Patrick Wyman shit, you'll like Mike Duncan's. I would recommend for North America, one of my favorite books is Pekka Hämäläinen's Comanche Empire, to sort of go into the rich history of empire building. It is, however, a book that definitely deals with interactions with Europeans. So it's a non-European history, but it definitely deals with interactions with Europe. One of the problems with history books is after you get after about 1600, in lots of places, Europeans are just poking their heads in everywhere. But that being said, I would, if you're looking for a big overview, because it seems like if you like Eric Hobsbawm, you like big overview histories, I might point you to just some general world histories. And then when you run into something really interesting, you're like, oh, man, this Mughal Empire sounds fascinating. Or I'd really like to know more about the Kingdom of the Congo in the medieval era. Then you can go there. So I think good places to start might be Burbank and Cooper's Empires in World History is a good one. I
was just about to recommend one, but then I remembered that it's modern world history, and so it would still be largely about Europe.
How about we kill two birds with one stone and learn more about expressions of gender with Gender in History by Mary Wiesner Hanks, an amazing historian and a very nice person. Gender in History, Global Perspectives.
If you're looking for just an outside of Europe, just a generally interesting one, there's actually, I've read a couple of really good big picture histories on the Mongol Empire. The one that was fun and accurate enough was Genghis Khan and the Making of the Modern World by
that's a great book.
Jack Weatherford. If you are looking for something a little bit outside of your comfort zone, gosh, I'm a I'm a Atlantic.
Oh, what about a pirate recommendation?
Well,
oh yeah, I got one.
Do I ever?
We've got pirates in this
We got-
Greek pirate world that Frankie's running.
Oh yeah, sorry. Now I'm thinking about Greek pirates. If you're a pirate history, this is also look how badly we're failing. I'm an Atlantic historian, so I read mostly things in
I've got one good non-European pirate recommendation.
For
which
Pirates
is,
Under the Black Flag by David
yeah,
Cordingley.
Under the Black
It's a really good one.
For a non-European pirate one I read a really long time ago, like 5 years ago, like White Lotus Rebels and South China Pirates, Crisis and Reform in the Qing Empire by Wenxing Wang.
This
and
is one
it
of those
is
on my list
not
that I
super
never read. Yeah.
accessible. It's not super accessible, but it's really good. It's really interesting.
Yeah. This is a good question. I hope that our ramble has come across a few things. Go
What
ahead.
about others? I got one more. One more for non-European sea stuff. This is a very non-European book. It is very ocean-centric. It's an oceanic history, and given your interest in pirates and traders, you would like it. It's called Pacific Worlds by Matt Matsuda.
Oh, interesting.
And it's all about Polynesia, Philippines, basically the Pacific as a history, and it's got lots of sailing, a little bit of piracy, and very few Europeans.
Cool. We'll include all of these things we rambled about in the show notes and maybe add some others if we remember them. But good question.
Great question.
Thank you so much
Thanks,
for writing, Frankie. This is really great.
All right, let's go to some more quick letters. Here's a quick problem with, I'm sure, an easy solution. Hi, I'm looking for advice about how to handle my players who don't keep their character sheets updated over the course of the campaign. Darren.
I was gonna give like a pithy answer for this, but ignore them is not an option. They will forget.
Yes.
They will forget their. I don't know. Here's the thing, Darren. You are not their dungeon dad, and it is not your responsibility to update their character sheets. And you should not.
Or parent.
Yeah, or you're not their dungeon parent. It sets a bad precedent to do the character sheets for them. So, I mean, Matt, I have a suggestion for this. I don't know if you have a smarter one than me.
Here's my suggestion. As a teacher, if you want people to do something and you want to make sure it gets done, you basically have to burn some time. You have to burn a resource. You could burn time, you can burn candy, you can burn cash, you can burn grades. Time is probably the easiest resource. So you burn 10 minutes at the beginning of every session and say, we're not playing yet, we're eating and snacking, but at the end of those 10 minutes, everyone's going to have their character sheet up to date. Do it at the beginning of every couple sessions.
This was exactly my suggestion. At the beginning of every session, you'll say, great. For the next 10 minutes, you're updating your character sheets.
It sucks because you're treating them like children, but in another sense, you're basically teaching them how to, this is something I have to do.
If they make you do this, then they deserve to be treated like children. And hopefully after a couple of times, they'll learn and they'll come with their character sheets updated. And if they don't, extend the time. You are in charge. Waste as much time as it takes.
You don't have to make it a punishment. It's like teaching kids how to write. It's like, okay, we're going to spend 10 minutes a day free writing. It's not a punishment. We're just learning.
Fair enough.
We're just learning. Don't be so harsh on them, Rob. Kids are going to turn on you really quickly.
But they're not kids. They're adults.
Oh, right. Sorry. We're not. What are we talking about again? D&D, right? Not teaching.
All right.
Hopefully that helps, Darren.
Yeah, Darren, I hope that helps. All right. Here's another question. Hey, Matt and Rob. I was wondering how to homebrew interesting races. Well, you and Wizards of the Coast as well. More specifically...
Oh, man. Who is this guy? Jerry Seinfeld? Man.
Bazinga! All right. More specifically, plain touch races. In my campaign, I want to include more options for those who want to have that plain touch ancestry. I think the Aasimar is the most mechanically interesting when compared to the Tiefling and Genesys. How do I create something that's mechanically interesting while also useful? I got rid of alignments, great, and the specific ability score improvements as I find them restrictive on characters. For example, how do I create an interesting looking Aksani? They're law touched, but how does that look? Thanks, Robbie.
I'm thinking now, Rob, of on PAX Television, a new show to follow up Touched by an Angel, Touched by a Modron. All these little Modrons come down to the material plane. Touched by a Slod. It would be a much more interesting show. And obviously, Tiefling and Genasi shouldn't be all there are.
I mean, it stands to reason that if there are plain touch creatures for chaos or good and evil and all the elemental planes, then there should be for law and chaos as well. So, I mean, in Oksani, I could see you go a couple of different ways. I think that might make sense for them to be metal men, like androids,
or just if you want to go a little more, I can fit into the human world. They have a metallic sheen to their skin,
not like full on Warforged, but maybe they've got metallic skin.
They have geometric patterns, basically tattooed on their skin from birth. They are perfectly symmetrical.
Right,
all their joints are the same length on their fingers and toes.
I mean, that's the first thing that comes to mind for me.
They have an equal number of fingers and toes on each hand.
Shocking.
I would say I think Pathfinder actually did something like this in one of the source books, and I don't know which one it is, but if you want to port over some of the extra plain touch races from Pathfinder First Edition, you probably can, and they probably have descriptions for those races.
Yeah, and I would do just for each of these, I would do what we just did, which is what are the denizens of that plane or group of planes look like? So in this case, Modrons, and then make it something that people would actually want to play. Make it cool or sexy or fun or something.
If you're Chaos touched, you have that sexy David Bowie eye where one of them's always dilated.
Permanent guy liner if you're Chaos touched or whatever. It's not all guy liner. Perfectly permanent eyeliner and spiky hair. It only you have a grow a mohawk. It's the only type of hairstyle you can grow.
I want a character who is plain touched by the dimmy elemental plane of dust, and they're just dusty.
It's Linus from Charlie.
I mean Pigpen.
Pigpen. Sorry, God. Linus has the blanket.
Linus has a blanket.
Sorry.
Yeah, no.
From the elemental plane of blankets.
That's you should send your players to really shitty dimmy elemental planes.
The absolute terrible planes.
Yeah, elemental plane of blankets and pillows.
That sounds nice.
Yeah. Sounds warm.
Yeah.
All right, here's the next letter. World building through other games. Hey, Matt and Rob, a few months ago, I contacted you about alternate forms of inspiration when world building. Since then, my friends and I have been playing a lot of Settlers of Catan, Cities and Knights, and have found this to be another excellent yet unorthodox way of world building. You can base an island or continent on the geography of the board game, and each player could represent a race or kingdom. The Cities and Knights expansion adds a lot of chance cards that you can use to fill a kingdom's history, and the ability to upgrade your cities with elements such as libraries, aqueducts, and universities. Hope this inspires some folks, helps flesh out some worlds. Thanks for the great content, guys. Keep rolling them dice, Wyatt.
I think this is a great idea. I have often had wild fantasies of incorporating other strategy games into sort of like a meta a meta element to my D&D games. We would, to help the players resolve like a nation state issue, they would play a game of Risk or something like that. But I've never made this work. I have had theories of it, but and I like the idea, but I've always tripped in the execution. So I think this is great.
Yeah, this is super awesome if you have an island in your world and you play a game, you take a picture of the game board and use the spot of cities on the game board to be cities in your world, right? It's a fun way to sort of have logically placed things, right? Because your players have to put them in good spots. I love this idea. I just finished my first game of 1,000-Year Vampire, and the vampire character I lovingly diaried for many hours by flashlight during this winter storm will absolutely show up as a character in one of my future games in some form or another.
Yeah. What else would be interesting for this to bring in? I feel like I've played 1,000 strategy games, and they're all beautiful in their own way, and they all kind of blend together in my mind. Played too much Ameritrash. I can't remember anything anymore.
Right. I mean, if you wanted to do a sci-fi game, you can't go wrong with a game of Twilight Imperium or something.
True. To
sort of set the stage for something or other.
I mean, that would be fun. Is you play Twilight Imperium, and whoever comes out on top is that's the setting for the eventual campaign.
And put a lot of pressure on that game of Twilight Imperium.
It would. All right. Here's another question. A few questions, actually. Would you guys considering publishing the Con or Godless Space campaigns as source books or adventures? This refers to Thunder on the Steppe and
Wild Space.
That Matt and I have both written. The answer is yes. Someday.
Just need some more time.
We just need to not have jobs. And the answer is yes, and I've always wanted to do this, and every now and then I'll start poking around in Thunder on the Steppe, and I'll start having fun with all the work I did, and I do want to convert it and put it up somewhere. So know that we are working on it. And Matt's Wild Space is
I had a dream about Thunder
closer
on the Steppe not too long ago. I think about that campaign a lot.
It was a good campaign. It was a long campaign. Covered a lot of ground, literally, figuratively. It's. I'm glad you asked. It is coming. Second question.
We should just do another episode where we do just a little bit more work on them.
I think that's a good idea.
Let's do that soon.
This is from Rodriguez. Rodriguez, thank you. Good question. We'll do an episode soon where we revisit our existing campaigns and we're like, what do we need here?
Yeah.
2.
Thanks, Rodriguez.
I found out about another set of resources by some publisher called Kobold Press. I know Kobold Press.
Oh, yes.
Any chance you guys would review their 5e resources, Tome of Beasts, Midgard Sourcebook, or Tale of Old Margrave Adventures? The way you reviewed the Wizards of the Coast stuff, at the very least, they look better than Awful Wizards MTG tie-ins. I love Kobold Press. I played... They did some stuff for Pathfinder. I played one of their... I'm blanking on the name of it. This is a great request. Honestly...
I've actually run a Tales of the Margrave adventure for you, Rob. You probably don't know it because I didn't announce in my game, I'm using a Tales of the Margrave adventure. But you've actually played in one.
Well, then all right. This is also a great question. I feel like I should apologize because we definitely weren't meaning to neglect third-party publishers, and we should have done this sooner. It just kind of slipped my mind. But yeah, we'll put it on the docket. We'll look at something that Kobold Press did. I will
say that Tome of Beasts is, I think, the gold standard for third-party monster editions. It's been out for a very long time, and it's a very good one.
Yeah. Finally, would you guys consider covering any of the Pathfinder source books or adventure modules? I think they're called adventure paths. It would be interesting to find out what other non-wizard settings are out there. Actually, this is kind of up to Matt because I love Pathfinder, and I actually bought and ran some second edition stuff. So, Matt, can we take a look, Matt?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's take a look at another adventure path. We
did a couple at the beginning, Rodriguez.
Skull and Shackles, and we've done
Rise of the
Kingmaker.
No, we did Kingmaker. You're right.
We could go and do a retrospective on Rise of the Rune Lords. We could look at some of the other interesting ones like Reign of Winter.
You played in a Reign of Winter campaign, right?
I played in Reign of Winter. I've played in Rise of the Rune Lords. I've run Second Darkness, and I've run the ones I've already mentioned. I think that's about it. There's a ton of new ones. We could look at one of the new ones for second edition.
It might be fun to look at a new one. Anyway, great question. Thank you for the reminder. We will absolutely do that. Thank you, Rodriguez, for writing. These were good questions. A+ gold star.
All right, we've got 2 more questions, Rob. Here we go. Narrative skirmish for D&D. I'm in love with D&D combat. My players are not.
I know that. I know that feel.
This is a tagline for a new romantic comedy. I like this. I want to create a system that I'm calling narrative skirmish mode in SM. This would treat combat as a series of skill checks rather than a traditional HP pinata. This sort of thing would be used for conflict that shouldn't be particularly hard or consequential. Traditional D&D combat would be used for important fights and tactical encounters. I know other systems use a more narrative approach to dice. Can I Frankenstein it into D&D? I was just thinking of having them roll a D10 or a D12 and adding proficiency bonuses if it makes sense based on what they describe themselves doing. Maybe advantage if they have the relevant class feature. How would I scale DC? What would you guys do? I'd be interested to see what you come up with. Dalton.
Interesting.
I think as much as we like to say yes, Rob, I think my answer for this one is no, but play a different game.
The answer is do what makes you happy and whatever fits in your game. This is just like a great example of where there's a really great idea that I just don't think is going to fit in Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. There are systems that do this. And they do it well, and they model this much better. And when you try, in my experience, trying to staple these on to D&D it just doesn't work, and it's disappointing, which is too bad because it would be nice if D&D had some resolution mechanisms that were as deep and interesting as combat was.
Now, my answer is no, but try any of the myriad other systems that don't have HP combat. But if you had to do this, like let's say everyone's got characters rolled up and you're already in the middle of this campaign and you're not learning a new system. I don't know. You just sort of admitted that some of these combat encounters aren't ones that players are ever going to fail. So when you present them with that combat encounter, just ask each player to go around and tell you how they succeed. And, if you need to roll a check, an attack to hit or something, or a save for whatever spell the wizard's using. On success, it goes off without a hitch. On failure, they lose some kind of resource, right? Expending that thing.
I like this. The other thing is I do a lot of fudging in my combats. Like these days, if like the players are clearly winning and I think they're okay with it, I will just describe the consequences rather than make them, all bludgeon the remaining goblin to death. I'm happy to, save us all 5 minutes by just, describing their inevitable victory. So maybe there's a way for you to move combat along and include some of this that doesn't require an actual new system, but
the other answer is if you actually built this system, it could work. It does sound like a lot of work to me, which is why I was just like, just use another thing, because it seems like too much work to create another system for succeeding at combat. Yeah, I would just say give them all a check to succeed. And again, you said it doesn't matter. They're never going to lose this fight. So failure just means they lose some kind of resource. They use up their rope or their equipment. They lose hit points. They take a level of exhaustion. They no longer have second level spells for the rest of the day, right?
Yeah. Good question, Dalton. I feel you on this. My players don't love combat either. So, unfortunately, you just kind of got to get creative because the system...
Give every enemy less hit points.
Yeah.
That is just less hit points.
All right.
We've got one final letter and a couple suggestions.
Yeah. We've got another suggestion for our house rules. Thanks, everybody who wrote in. We really... I genuinely appreciate this.
I think we had way more suggestions than we could get to, so sorry.
The thing is, this is great. We'll put those for another future House Rules episode. Clearly, there's more to talk about, so we'll come back to it. So here are some House Rules additions from Force. There's one here that's especially interesting, which is about counterspell. And we talked about this. Rules as written, you can counterspell a counterspell. And this is what Force does. It's a spell that I love, but here's what I do. If anyone tries to counterspell a counterspell, they initiate a magic duel. Both casters roll their spellcasting.
They stop playing. They get out their decks of cards.
That's right.
Open up their library.
It's
They
time
set their life to 20.
duel.
20 life.
Both casters roll their spellcasting attack roll, and the higher caster gains control over the spell originally being counterspelled. They can just counterspell it as normal, or they can change the target, cause it to backfire, etc. That's right, I actually incentivize this. So far, I've only had one group counterspell an enemy, then counterspell their own ally again, 2 separate players, in order to take control of a monster's spell, but both of them burn a counterspell to steal it, so it seems fun and fair to me.
I love this.
This also seems fun and fair to me, and the only thing I can see is that my players would never do it. They remember counterspell like once every like 5 sessions and get really excited about it, and then forget they have it for a really long time. Maybe it's because I don't use that many casters, but I love the magic duel idea. It's like a Harry Potter wand duel. You're using your force of will to shoot the energy stream back and forth.
It's very Lord of the Rings contest of wills.
It is.
But why stop at just a check? Why not dust out from your basement that old set of Crossfire and set it up between you and the players and play a game of Crossfire, and whoever wins the Crossfire match controls the spell.
I mean, the thing is, this is rare enough that if you want to have like a very special, like, here's a bunch of shit that happens when somebody counterspells your counterspell, go for it. Because as you mentioned, and as I mentioned, it does not happen that very often. So
the counterspelling and counterspell. No, it's super rare. I would just say, the one thing to be cautious about is if your players counterspelled the counterspell, they're basically ahead and they were being clever. You want to be careful if you're like, oh, you were clever, you counterspelled the counterspell, didn't think of that, but now you have to do a duel and there's a 50% chance you're going to lose. I would say make it happen more often when it's you counterspelling the counterspell. You see what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying. I'm picking up what you're putting down. All right, thank you
down
Force,
these marbles
for writing in.
Crossfire match.
We've got a couple of
just recommendations.
Yeah.
The first one's from me. This comes from a friend of the show, CJ, writing about the Dread Dome. Hey, Matt, CJ writes, we played in a game of Microscope back in the before times. CJ loves the show and thought it was dope. Friends and I are starting a podcast of questionable dopeness that is an actual play TTRPG called The Dread Dome. CJ, I have listened to many episodes now of The Dread Dome. It is absolutely fun. It uses the system Dread. Are you familiar with this system, Rob?
I am, because I listened to another episode as well. By the way, this is a dope podcast, and Dread is a TTRPG that uses a Jenga tower to simulate, well, Dread.
When you pull out the last one, you say, I am the law.
Yeah, and this is a dope podcast with a dope RPG, and we'll link it in the show notes. But yeah, thanks for writing in, CJ. This is really cool.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I mean, it's a fun system. If you've never played Dread before, listen to a couple of episodes of this, and you will want to play Dread. And it's a very system.
It's like
that works great
Jenga.
For horror.
It's very tense.
You can use it for anything.
It's it works great for a horror or suspense type game. Yeah, it's awesome. On our second recommendation comes from Oscar. Oscar writes, "Hi DMs, I recently DM'd you a link to a tweet about a new 5e setting called the Wagadu Chronicles: The Child and the Oath. I have nothing to do with the project, and I honestly don't know much about it, but I was excited when I saw it, and I thought it would be something you'd find interesting as well. Love the show. You've taught me a ton. Cheers, Oscar." Oscar, thank you for this. I saw something about the Wagadu Chronicles a while back, and I think I made a note, and I really want to review this. So we're going to also push this to the top. I'm excited just to check it out to see if it is worth, if it's good at all.
I was worried about this at first just because the Kickstarter was to create an MMO and a 5e setting.
Oh, that's right. That was this
and
one.
I was like, oh no, you can't create an MMO. You will fail. Oh no. But, of course you can create a smaller MMO and succeed. And I was worried the scope of the project would pull down the very cool 5e setting. But, this was a while ago, and it looks like the 5e setting is done. So it's something we can actually review. And so my worst fears were not realized.
That's right.
We
have
actually
something
have a 5e setting book
to actually review. Thanks for the recommendation, and we'll check it out.
Yeah.
Wagadoo. We have a lot of recommendations, a lot of things to get to. Now that Matt and I hopefully have power consistently, knock on wood, we'll start to work through some of those things, assuming there are no more catastrophes soon. We know there will be, but hopefully not in the immediate future.
And if Ted Cruz tweets about D&D and a way to earn points to get himself out of this mess, we will be here to talk about it and probably quit. I mean,
probably stop
Ted
playing.
Cruz talks about D&D, we'll just have
that's it.
Hang it up.
Pack it in.
Game over.
Yep. All right, everybody. Thanks for listening. Rate, review, subscribe, smash that like button, and whatever you do, keep rolling them dice.
You're as cold as ice. You're willing to sacrifice our love. You never take